All right, let's recap AEW Dark as well as Dynamite and give you a preview of next week's programming. First up, AEW Dark real quick. We have Brandy Rose defeating Red Velvet. Brandy Rose likes to bring out her little action figure. The Butcher and the Blade defeated Daniel Garcia and Kevin Blackwood. Penelope Ford defeated Danny Jordan. Brian Cage defeated Megabyte Ronnie. Proud and Powerful Santana Ortiz defeated Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. in a tag match. Will Hobbs, the newly signed AEW star wrestler, defeated Jesse Sorensen in a singles match. Ivelisse and Diamante defeated Skylar Moore and Roche Chanel in a women's tag match. We haven't seen a women's tag match in a while. Here's one that could have went either way. Colt Cabana defeated QT Marshall in a singles match. And what everybody was anticipating, Brandon Cutler versus Peter Avalon, ends in a double countout. They are still 0. I was thinking that that's how I would book it. You don't want to end this. There's really nothing going on with these guys. Their little feud, whatever it is, continues. And then finally, Best Friends, Chuck and Trent defeat Max Stardom and Dante Smiley in a tag match. Oh, and then we have the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver defeating Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn, and the Gun Club, Billy Gunn and Austin Gunn. And that concludes AEW Dark. AEW Dynamite, this was a pretty good show. I was thinking that maybe it might not be a great show, but it was a good show. First of all, we had the FTR versus Jurassic Express. Winner is FTR. I gave this a 3.25. I'm not a huge FTR fan. I think Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus definitely made this match more interesting. I'm just not into FTR, but still, this was still a good match. Gave it a 3.25. Hangman Page versus Frankie Kozarian. Winner, Hangman Adam Page. This was a really good, this was my elite match of the night. I gave it a 3.75. This was my favorite match of the night. These two guys, I thought maybe Frankie Kozarian might get the win and Adam Page might have this long losing streak or something like that, which would have been real interesting, kind of hitting that rock bottom and losing a bunch of matches. MJF versus Shawn Dean. Winner MJF. I give this a 1 because it lasted 10 seconds. MJF got on the mic, started talking trash about Jon Moxley, etc. But will MJF join a faction or create his own faction? This was kind of a little interesting twist. Not really sure where his character is going. And it seems like they definitely just dropped that whole presidential thing real quick. Eddie Kingston comes out with his crew and they beat up a bunch of people, showing them that what's up there. The Demo God, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. Again, another guy. I'm not a big Jake Hager fan. I'm just not feeling him. Chris Jericho and Jake Hager are the winner. I give this one a 3. I think Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy did a good job. Chris Jericho. Then Jake Hager did okay. That's why I gave it a 3. Women's title match. Well, this is the NWA World's Women's Championship match. Thunder Rosa versus Ivelisse. This was a really good match. I gave this winner, Thunder Rosa, I gave this a 3.25. This one was a good match, and I would love to see Thunder Rosa in AEW. Because she's under contract and they're borrowing her. I mean, that's what you don't want to have is your NWA champion in any form appear on television, and then all of a sudden you lose them. So Thunder Rosa is still going around the area, which is great for her, being on television and then representing NWA. But I would really love to see Thunder Rosa in AEW, on the AEW roster. A lot of people would. We check in with Muriel and Kip Sabian, talking about his bachelor party. That should be interesting. Lance Archer checks in, and we'll get into that in a second, because then Jon Moxley comes in. And basically, we're going to have a big match next week on AEW Dynamite. We'll get into that in a second. Then the parking lot fight, Proud and Powerful Santana Ortiz, which I don't even know if they go by Proud and Powerful anymore, versus Best Friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent. This was a fantastic match, very entertaining, lots of fun, lots of big bumps, lots of spots. Winner's best friend. I gave this a 4.25. This was my elite match of the night. I thought this match was great. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, it was a great match. Across the board, didn't know who was going to win. A lot of fun to watch. Orange Cassidy makes an appearance. Spoiler if you didn't see it. And it was a great match, which ends with Sue giving Proud and Powerful Santana Ortiz the middle finger. And how does that? If that's not great television, I don't know what is. Due to AEW having taped an extra hour of TV due to the NBA playoffs, we are now going to get an extra hour next Tuesday following the NBA playoff game on TNT. See, the original idea was that this extra hour would be seen on Wednesday, and then Dynamite would have aired on Thursday. However, due to the NBA playoff series ending early, it wasn't needed. We basically got the regularly scheduled programming instead, which was great. So next week's special episode that was supposed to air on Wednesday will now air on Tuesday because this is already in the hopper and you needed to get rid of this, so to speak, to move on to the next set of tapings. So next week's special Tuesday late night Dynamite on TNT will feature a main event of Matt Seidel versus Shawn Spears. This is Seidel's first match since he made his debut at AEW All Out in the Casino Battle Royale. We know his little botch that happened. Still no word on if Seidel has signed with All Elite Wrestling or not. The card will feature Chris Jericho on commentary, which will be a lot of fun, and two other matches as well. First, a singles match, Scorpio Sky versus Ben Carter, and Brandy Rhodes versus Pro Wrestling News Hub's favorite, Anna Jay, as well. So it should be a good hour of pro wrestling on TV on Tuesday. Next week's matches for AEW Dynamite, the big announcement was Mr. Brody Lee versus Orange Cassidy. This now will be back live in Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. So this is the lineup so far. We have a TNT title match, Mr. Brody Lee versus Orange Cassidy. We'll see if Mr. Brody Lee just demolishes him. I mean, Orange Cassidy did beat Chris Jericho. Does Cassidy have a chance? I think we're going to keep Brody Lee with the TNT Championship belt for quite some time. I would be stunned to see Orange Cassidy win this one. Tag match, Hikaru Shida, Thunder Rosa versus Ivelisse and Diamante. This should be a good match. Thunder Rosa has been great. Hikaru Shida. I mean, if you were to rank the women's wrestlers right now, I mean, Hikaru Shida would be, of course, the champion. I would say Thunder Rosa is over pretty much anybody else on the roster right now. And Ivelisse, she's got to get some wins so that she can crack in the top 5 as well. She's been doing a good job wrestling as well. The 60-man tag match, it's going to feature Jon Moxley, Will Hobbs. I was stunned by that one. And Darby Allin versus Lance Archer, Brian Cage, and Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks is one of my up-and-coming favorite guys as well. This should be a lot of fun and a good match. I mean, Lance Archer and Brian Cage together should be real interesting. What happens? There's no way Lance Archer beats Jon Moxley on the anniversary show. That's the plan, is that it'll be Jon Moxley versus Lance Archer. I believe it's October 14th, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, October 14th in a championship match, the 1-year anniversary of AEW Dynamite. But it would be interesting if Lance Archer wins, because part of the stipulation of Taz's group joining was that Brian Cage would get a shot at the title, which was cool. And we'll get an appearance by Chris Jericho as well. Not really sure if he's doing commentary, but he'll be on the show as well. So next week's show is already lining up to be a lot of fun, and that's the September 23rd show.